We're currently building a Mclaren from Temu. I bought this 650S from Copart salvage auction, but wanted to make it that bit better. So I went onto Temu and found this 675 LT body kit for around 20% of the price of buying it from Mclaren themselves. But getting these kits to fit is never straightforward. So in the last couple of videos, we got the body kit unpackaged and started to fit it up to the car. Now the front end fit beautifully, but the rear end took a lot more work to get right. We've still got so much work to do, including fitting an engine. Not going to be a small job, but to keep this project moving and rolling forwards, we're going to get the car off to the body shop to get painted and then hopefully get the shell back pretty soon. Oh, she's in. Some of it should be painted. I don't think we're going to have the whole thing painted then get it back. I think we're going to try and get the main body done so we can get back to work on it as quick as possible. Get the other bits painted as we go and we can start assembling. Shout out to big man Ethan. Yeah, buzzing. Right, it's about a week since we dropped the Mclaren off down at Flat Out Paint Shop. They've called us in because they have done some work on the body panels, worked some of the bits which we weren't 100% happy with. Need to check it out before they can start getting it in primer, and then hopefully it's not ages and ages till we get it back. That looks good. That looks good. That looks better. Sweet. Ah yes, what have we done with them?
Equalled them up a bit.
Nice. Nice. Oh, sweet. She's coming along. Yeah. So now the body kit fits 10 times better, but there's one big decision we need to make: the colour. Here's our paint samples. Big Neil has done many of them, and one of these is the original one, and I don't know which one it is. Makes it a bit fun really, because then I just pick the one I like, and it doesn't matter which one is the OG. No, that's not the original.
That looks good though.
That's not the original, that's not the original. That's the original.
That is the original.
Okay, that's the original one. So that's the first one we picked. This one's standing out to me.
Yeah, it's a bit candy.
Yeah, was that the most ball-ache one to paint?
No, that's the perfect one.
Okay, that one really pops, like compared to those ones.
Yeah.
That's just like another level in it. Which is what we want, we want it to glow. Sweet, all right, colour sorted. Now just got to paint it.
Just got to paint it now, yeah.
Good luck. So I've decided against using a Mclaren colour. We're simply going to do a candy orange, which is going to be much easier for us to get right, and also pops a lot more too. Right, because it's a candy colour, they've painted the panels and those bits in silver first, and then they've got to do the orange over the top. We're doing 3 coats of the candy, and then the colour should reveal itself. So I think we're just about to lay on the first coat now, and we can start to see how it's going to look. I still want to touch it. It's my toxic trait. That looks, do you know what's weird? Like, we've seen those panels over there when they're horizontal, how different they look to the vertical one. That looks the boy. Right, I need to get out of it before I touch something, because I can feel it rising up inside me that I've just got to touch it. But I couldn't love the colour of this Mclaren anymore. I think this is absolutely perfect. In the sun, this is going to look ridiculous. So now what we've got to do is get the car packaged back up and get it back to the workshop, because we can get to work on the rest of the car whilst they finish off painting the panels. McLaren's back from the body shop and it's looking flipping epic. And the last thing we want to do is damage any of these panels. This car still needs so much work, so we're going to strip everything back off it and get back down to the bare body, and we're going to now start seriously trying to build this car back up, get it ready for the engine to go in, then we can panel it up, and hopefully we've got a roadworthy car. Mickey, you ready for some serious graft?
Yes, mate.
Let's do this. We're completely stripped down and we're going to start here and work this way. Luckily, the interior ain't too mashed. We don't have a dash to do. Steering wheel and airbag are all right. There's no airbags apart from one in the door, which is gone. So that's all good. One thing we are missing, because the roof was damaged, is the rear window and also the roof panels, but we've replaced the mechanism already. So now we're going to try and put the rear window in and go from there, I guess, and then just see what else we can find that needs putting on. Don't think that's supposed to look like that. We're going to straighten this out. All it needs to be, it's supposed to be an arrow straight piece, so we should be able to get that back into shape, no problems. Get it back on, then we can fit up the glass. What do you reckon? That's pretty damn straight, isn't it? Nice. That worked. And it doesn't actually look a mess. That looks good. Wow, I repaired something. Torqued.
How many newton meters?
17 I went for. I heard my knuckles crack. if I want 35, it's my elbow. Wheel nuts and like my back tends to crack, and then yeah, if I want anything more than that, it's just KO. Now when you come to buying your next used car, you want to make sure it hasn't looked like this in its past. And that couldn't be easier to do. All you have to do is pop the reg for the car that you're interested in into Car Vertical, and that's going to bring up everything you need to know about the car. But not only that, it can also show you photos of the car if it's ever been damaged from the auction. Take a look at the history on my Mclaren. This is probably the worst car you'll ever see. We can see that my car has no outstanding finance. Good. It has damage and it's got high owners, which is not good signs. But if you scroll a bit further down, you can actually see photos of the car from when it was damaged the first time. We can see the back end looks okay, but as you go around the front, there is a couple of bits missing. So the first crash for this car was actually pretty minor. The car's not outstanding as stolen, but there is some strange stipulation in the mileage. We can see back in 2020, compared to the year before, the mileage actually went down. So maybe this car's been clocked as well. And in the damage section, we can see it says beware, so you know it ain't great. They've found 2 records of this vehicle being damaged, and it's marked as an insurance write-off. First damage in 2018, the car was marked as a category S, had repairable structural damage, and then it was marked as damaged again but not categorized in 2019, which is brilliant. And on top of that, Car Vertical also gives you a full timeline of the car's history, from things like license plate changes to damage, when it's been on sale, and when the ownership's changed as well. So don't risk it. When you come to buy your next used car, make sure to use Car Vertical and use discount code SLIX, which is going to save you 20% off your Car Vertical report and could potentially save you a lot more by saving you from buying a lemon. Thanks Car Vertical for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to work. I've also done a lot of shopping and trying to do as much preparing as possible for getting the car back. I've been and bought plenty of stuff. One company which has been super helpful is one called Hybrid Performance. I'm going to link their Instagram on screen right now. So I've started to buy all this stuff. It's just they've been a saviour when it's come to buying this and sourcing some of these bits for like reasonable money. We have got a brand new radiator for the front. Ooh, so there's 2 of these which we didn't even get the rad packs for this car for the front. So got that for one side. Ordered the other one, and we've also got the shrouds which go with it. So hopefully I can piece this together pretty easily. This is going to be the back piece, isn't it? So that one should go there. That looks like it should drop on. Which way around do we reckon? Is that right? I think it is. There we go, 1 rod pack. Just need to find some bolts. One thing with this build, that it's always going to be a kind of balancing act between getting stuff done so we can actually move forward with the project and spending money, because at the end of the day, I'm not running on a bottomless bank of cash. This could very easily send me bankrupt. So I've been spending so much time hunting for second-hand parts. On some bits, pretty successful. Other bits, not so much. Anywhere I can save money, I am. So I believe this is a new rad pack for the driver's side because it got a bit crumbled. From Mclaren, this is thousands and thousands of pounds. I managed to pick this one up from, I think it was KR Salvage. They charged me £400. A AC rad and coolant rad, which looks like this. Oh, and the fan as well. That is going to work. They're not the same, and it's going to do the job lovely. So we can start fitting all these up in preparation for the engine. As soon as Ricky's done with that, then we can just put that in and it'll work. There's some bits which you have to kind of do when you're doing a project like this to keep it moving at a decent pace, preempt stuff like this. One of the things which I think we're going to have needed is pipe work. There's so many pipes on this car that inevitably a lot of them are going to be damaged. From the same place, I picked up basically every single pipe that goes underneath the car for 300 quid. We're not necessarily going to use all of them. It's a good thing to have because then it's going to save us a lot of time when it comes to, you know, oh, we found a broken pipe. Oh no, we're going to have to order it. That slows us down for 2 days. This should help us keep moving and keep the project going forwards. I think that's money well spent though. Now thankfully the rad pack for the passenger side was okay, but it needed cleaning out, so I could blow that out with an airline and we can put that to the side ready to fit. But the next job we need to do to move forward is to drop the fuel tank. This gives us access to some of the coolant pipes, but there was one more pipe which was broken on the fuel tank which we also need to change. We found it! Yay!
So that's that part I got you to order?
Yeah, so we'll put this in while it's here because we'll never get to that once the fuel tank's back in.
No, that's handy.
Right, cool. Now, that's gave us access to fix that. We've got a replacement for this, so we can do that while it's off. Yep. Clean the tank as well because it is disgusting, and it gave us access to all of these pipes. So we need to go through which ones are broken and which ones ain't, and then we can figure out which ones we need to change out of our massive pile of pipes over there. So I'm sure this is going to be a pipe fest, and I'm sure there's going to be loads of innuendos too. Yeah. So we can start by whipping out the pipe which has got a break in the end. And then we've got to sift through all our new ones and try and decipher which one's the one that you need. So that one, yeah, that's not the right hole, I don't think.
Because this, look, it wants to be bent up.
But when we figured out which one we needed, we could get it threaded through and get it in the right place. Yep, back done to the front. Let's go! So up here, we've got one. Is this damaged or is it okay, just removed? That's from the radiator, so that one's actually okay. That one's okay. This one is interesting. Something tells me that's not a factory part. And on the other side, we've got, what we've got damaged this side?
Got a squashy one here.
The rubbers are okay, aren't they? But yeah, squashed metal pipe, squashed metal pipe.
I'm sure that ain't meant to be sitting on the leg.
No, I think you're right. That's going to be such, I can see where that goes, that's such a mare. But the good news is there is a join, but it's behind everything else.
Let's find out a bit of pipe first, shall we?
Yes. Do you struggle finding it, Mickey? You're going to struggle finding it?
No.
Right, unfortunately the only way to tackle the front pipes is to drop down the subframe, which is a bit of a ball ache, but here's what it is at the end of the day, and we've got to do it. There's no point putting it back together and then, you know, still having a risk of busting a pipe. So yeah, here we go. By the way, if you're enjoying these videos at the moment, especially on the Mclaren and this sort of vibe, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel because we're aiming for 500,000 by the end of this year. Do you reckon we're going to do it, Mickey?
I hope so.
Subscribing is free as well.
It is free to subscribe, yeah, it's crazy that people aren't, to be honest.
Is it light?
You see this battery go?
Let's have a go. Let's play catch. What the hell?
There we go.
Yes, please. Bang in the header. Sweet. Right, I'm going to clean that up. Mickey's going to change those pipes over quickly. Then we're just going to get it all back together. Yeah.
I love that.
Now we've got access, we can get those damaged pipes changed, I can clean up the subframe, and we can fit it all back up and move on to the next job. Let's chat engine quickly because obviously Ricky from RE Performance is currently building it. He's done his own build series on that engine and we're getting to the point now where it is nearly done and nearly ready to go back into the car. But there's a few bits I need to sort out to send down to Ricky so he can assemble everything, and one of those is the injectors, which I have. Can't get to them. I can't get to. I've got the injectors and we've brought them down to Artec, which is a tuning company local to me, and they have a specialist injector checking and cleaning equipment. So we're going to get these checked, make sure they're all good, get them refreshed, and then make sure they're good to go back into the car when it's ready, to make sure that it's not going to blow up and the injectors aren't going to fail, because that would be tragic. So let's see how these injectors are.
And the first step to that is testing the current performance of them. And although the current performance and spray pattern of them seemed alright, it was the perfect time and excuse to get them cleaned out, then we could get them retested, and they've got a clean bill of health ready to go back in the car.
We're at the point now where things get a little bit more challenging, and that is because from this point we don't know where anything goes, because this is basically the state we got the car in. We've got to try and figure out, without having removed anything, what goes where and what brackets do what, how things are mounted, and it all gets a little bit more challenging and time consuming. We're currently bodging together the kind of boot floor structure. All of these brackets are damaged and going to get replaced, but we're trying to understand where bits go. The next thing after that is moving on to mounting those front rad packs. Now, earlier in this video I got one of them clipped together, but there's something weird about them which I'm going to show you now. So welcome everybody to the shelf of procurement. This is where we are now keeping all of the bits that are nice, because we kept losing stuff. So we're going to have another one here as well, but for now this is all we've got. But on here we've got the rad pack sections, and I'll show you again what's weird about this, because these are the only three pieces that you need. That sits like that, that goes there. So that is the rad pack essentially built up. It needs some bolts and stuff, but there is nothing that mounts the rad to these plastics. It just sort of sits in there, and if you don't do anything about that, the rad just flaps around and wobbles. And this is what's strange about these sorts of cars, is they don't really come up with a solution for it, they just come up with a solution. And that solution is this. Quick run and grab the tape. Foam tape, which I know seems odd, but apparently this is the way it's done. I've seen a lot of it throughout the car, and there's nothing else you can buy from Mclaren to make it work any better, so that's what we're going to have to use. Bodge. Factory bodge.
Imagine the state of their Formula 1 cars.
So I'm going to clean these bits off with a panel wipe just to make sure our foam sticks nice. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to have rattly radiators, which will be annoying. Should we see how well this works? This seems like such a non-fix, doesn't it?
It just looks like it's going to need to be about twice the thickness.
You reckon?
Some big gaps, weren't there?
I don't know, I think because that's going to be on each side, I think we should be alright. It is still a bit jiggly, isn't it? But it's better. Do you reckon once the hoses are on there, that will hold it sturdy, or do you think I need to put another one on?
Oh, I think you should go ham with it.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Let's try that. It is terrible design, isn't it? Sorry Mclaren, I love what you do, but that is not it. The most insulting part of this is these ain't even cheap bits. I think the rads are like over 500 quid each, and each bit of the shroud is about the same. So it's like 1,500 quid a rad aside, and they literally don't even find a way to mount them that's not foam tape. Scatting. After much faff, we have two front rad packs. It's just a water rad, nothing else, and two shrouds, but using the Mclaren foam tape method, 0 rattles, she's solid. So we can get these on the car now. I'm going to take one side, Vicky's going to take the other, and we're going to put them on. Both rads on, and that's the first time I've actually seen it with them, because they didn't come with the car at all. I'm sure they pulled them off or something, because there's just loads of bits missing off the front end which I couldn't figure out. I know it was a bad crash, but it was just weird how much it was missing. But now we're going to swap out these headlight brackets, and then we've got some new parts to show you, which viewers of the second channel will have already seen. Right, let me take you over to the shelf of procurement. Because we have things and we have stuff, and one of the biggest things and stuff which I really struggled to find was headlights. Brand new headlights from Mclaren are, for the 650S, £3,600 each plus VAT. So that'd make it about 8 grand for a pair of headlights. I don't know whether that includes modules or not. And really, I wanted to try and find the 675 LT headlights because they say 675 LT in them. And they're rare. There's only, well, there's 1,000 of those made. 500 Spiders, 500 Coupes, and yeah, they're really bloody hard to find considering only about 100 of them came here. So I have struggled, and I've struggled, and I've struggled, but I have found, ooh, a pair of 675 LT headlights. Do you want to guess the price? Wrong. 2,900 quid for the pair. So I think that, considering how rare these are and how hard they are to find, is a flipping steal, because it's, you know, well, way less than half the price of the 650S head ones, and they're the ones I wanted anyway. So let's offer these up and well, see where we need to go from there, really. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? These are the little details that are really going to set us apart from the AMG. Some of you hated the headlights on that because they weren't the right ones. Well, these are the right ones, so.
But although these are going to look perfect, there's no guarantee that they're actually going to work.
I might end up having to sell these. Where's the plug even go?
There's a big plug here as well.
Is it this one here?
Oh, look. Oh, I'm doing it blindfolded. Oh, well, that's handy.
Well, it plugs in.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean it
whether
works.
or not.
Just start the engine and try it.
Yeah,
Good
just,
idea.
I'm so excited because this never had headlights at all, and to see one headlight it looks amazing. I think just coming together now.
Do you know how it's going to look better? With another headlight.
Right, let's do that. Right, need a little 7mm.
Yeah, and then 2 longies.
Plug her on. Oh, nice.
I think we need to see if they work. I think we need to put the battery on,
Yeah, good idea.
hook it up, and see if I've wasted my money or not. Because if I have, and they don't work, I'm going to be really upset.
Well, you've said it that it might not work though, is it? Let's get better.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's either going to be a really complex electrical system and not work and need coding and need calibrating and this, that and the other, or it's going to be really dumb and just go, that's fine, no headlights.
It is British, so.
Well, yeah, true. Battery is actually seeming like it might be okay. It's a lithium ion one, so it is nice and light, which is a good thing because that makes them also expensive. But we put it on charge, seems to take charge fine, seems to hold it pretty nice as well. So we're just going to keep maintaining it on and off the car at the moment until we're actually driving it. But for now, I think somehow we've got away with it, which is lovely. So let's hook this up and see if these headlights work.
I think they will.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think they're going to work.
Everyone at home, what's the odds? If these work, whoever's watching this video and isn't subscribed has got to subscribe. If they don't work, then everyone can unsubscribe.
So we nervously hooked up the battery to test whether I'd wasted my money on these 675 LT headlights or whether it was money well spent.
Should we start with an unlock, see if that does anything? Well, it's not making any noises anyway, so...
Nada.
Nothing. Right, ignition.
But it wasn't just the headlights that weren't working, it seemed to be the whole car. Until we remembered which we took something out which we'd completely forgotten about.
40 amp fuse.
Reckon that's going to be it? I'm going to go for it. I think this is the headlight switch.
Oh, yes! They're on!
Yes!
Wait, are they DRLs?
I don't know. That's just the side lights.
Oh,
so
go on.
I've just done the side lights.
Happy days. Knew it.
You ready for full headlight?
Yeah, go for it.
No.
Nothing.
But
But we've not got the engine on.
this, I don't know what that fuse is to.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
The wiring's the same, surely.
Oh, yeah, they're working.
Oh, get it, let me do that and look.
They look sick, it looks like a bug.
Like a little praying mantis. Yeah. Bad boy. They look good, don't they? Well, I think that's safe to say. Obviously the headlights will probably only work when the engine's running or something, wouldn't it? So I think that's a win. Yeah, they look sick.
So everyone needs to subscribe.
Oh yeah, that means everyone's got to subscribe now.
So it seems we have a pair of working headlights. It was a risky purchase, but I'm glad it paid off. So now we've done almost everything we can on the front end, it's time to start to reassemble the back again in preparation for the engine.
Time for the fuel tank to go back in. We've got our new piece of fuel pipe which broke when we took the engine out. Luckily, it snapped here and didn't break anywhere else on the actual thing, so we can just replace this. Nice and easy. Oh, sweet. Perfect. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, yes, I'm bad. Going up.
Going up.
We are making some progress. It's all little bits, but this is one big project. And what we're trying to do is make sure we're not trying to get things on for the sake of it and then take steps backwards. So we are just making slow little increments, getting closer to that end goal. And the next thing for that goal is the last rad. So we've got one on each side in front of the rear wheels. And this is the original one off the car actually. And it looks, apart from a bit of foam, undamaged to me. So that can go back on, no dramas. And we think it just pops in like,
Give you a little.
thank you. I'd say that's on, we've just got to do the pipe work. Here's the new one. No point messing around with any of the bits off the old one, I don't think. Let's just get this on as is. Oh, that is how they do it. Look, that's how we've done it as well. Washer and thing.
See, Mclaren specialist.
Although the original passenger side fitted perfectly, something is not right with this new rad pack which I've bought for the driver's side.
This side, not going to be so simple. I bought the rad pack for the driver's side off a crashed MP412C. Now in theory, the 650S is essentially a facelift of that car, so it should share a lot of the parts, which it does, but the rads, as it turns out, are not exactly the same. The radiator itself is. So two side by side. Oh, is it actually?
No,
it's not, is it?
Smaller.
Just a tiny bit smaller. Poo.
That might be why that's a mile away. Up by that much though. Because if we stand them upright,
Yeah. They're not the same. They're not the same.
God damn it.
They are not the same. So if you're fixing a 650S, don't try and buy MP4 rad packs because they don't work. Don't ask me how I know. The other rad pack's gonna have to get sent back to the guys that we bought it from. Luckily, I'll get the money back from that, which is about 400 quid. And the good news with this is, because the fan is actually okay, which second-hand is about 500 quid, but I've managed to find an AC rad and a radiator of a 570S, but I've checked the part numbers this time to make sure it's spot on. And they were, I think, 70 quid and 60 quid, so about 150 quid. So I've actually made 250 quid by getting the wrong rad pack, in my head anyway. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Not really.
No, but anyway, we've saved money by actually having a problem, so it's not the end of the world. Well, we've had some luck with things working like the headlights, but we've had some bad luck with things not fitting like the rad pack. And it's got me thinking because, well, I want to know if everything I bought for this car is going to fit or not. And the brakes are a big one. This car from factory should come with ceramic brakes, but the Track Experience company who owned it previously have fitted it with steels for cheapness of repair and replacement. And let's face it, average Joe off the street when he's doing 3 laps is not going to notice the difference. But these have the biggest lip I've ever seen on a disc. Can I just demonstrate? That's a lip. That is not safe. And it's just not going to cut the mustard. Look at the state of these. They look so faded and tired. they're just rubbish. So let's pull these off quick. Oh, lovely. He's already here.
I got this.
Thoughts?
Pogged.
Getting scientific.
Yeah, I was getting scientific. Look at
Oh.
the lid.
I think it's on a tilt, the disc is.
Yeah, I thought that was going to come up. That's a perfect bit there,
there's a
yeah.
big enough lip for it not to trip off. Look.
Just do it until it spills over. Oh, is it spilling over now? Oh, it's just spilling over, right.
There you go.
Okay, so that has took 250 ml of liquid in that lip on the disc, basically in the bowl of the disc because it's that warm. So I have gone and bought. Very careful, very careful, very careful, very careful, very careful. Very careful, very careful, very careful, very careful, very careful. A set of Artura ceramic brakes.
But ceramic brakes have their own sets of pros and cons. Now the first one is simple, they brake better and harder and typically last a lot longer too. And on top of that are typically much more heat resistant than standard steel brakes. But on the flip side, the braking performance isn't as good when they're cold. They're very fragile to handle and very, very expensive. They could easily come in at over £20,000 a set. But I think the pros outweigh the cons, and also I paid nothing near that for my set.
Now these are off. There's something that's happened with the Arturas and we're not 100% sure what, but there's a lot of spares going around for a car which you never see on the road. But essentially they are brand new parts that have been fitted to a car and never used, if that makes sense. So it's almost like the car's been put together, never used, and then stripped for parts. Which I know sounds really dodgy, but these are just parts off eBay. So you can't hate me for buying them. But these brakes are not designed to fit a 650S. The 650S and the 675 LT use a different caliper to what this one does. So these are basically the same as what you see on a 600 LT and things like that. We're not 100% sure that they're going to fit. Now this has been marked with FL, meaning front left, so that's going to be this one. Yes, that's looking... Ooh. Easy. Okay, that's on.
What's the second time? Oh, that looks sick.
I think we're on.
That is a win.
That is a big fat win. Only problem with that is this is the wrong colour orange now. Originally that would have looked fine, and they probably looked like that when they were new. But we're gonna have to get these painted.
Definitely.
But apart from that, win. Should we check the rear just in case? Because
I think so.
I don't want to get to it next time and go, oh, I'm such an idiot.
Now having these brakes is kind of a big deal. I've had a few nice cars in the past, but none yet with ceramic brakes, so I'm so keen to try them. But we need to see if the rears are going to fit just as easily as the fronts. And in typical Slicks fashion, they didn't.
So there's good news and there's bad news to that. The good news is that it's not actually hitting on the hub and the disc fits. The bad news is it's hitting on the bolts for the handbrake caliper. What do you think? Do you reckon you can trim those down?
They're parts, yes.
They're just, because it's not actually going to be used under force while it's driving anyway, and if you're just trimming the head, then surely it's just going to be the mating surface when you try to take it off. So if you just make it from this thick to this thick, you'll still be able to get it on and off. And because it's a handbrake caliper, it's only used when you're parked. So I'd say that's a safe fix.
Yep. Quickly whip the bolts up to Bob and say, could you mill a tiny little bit off the edge of the bolts, and it'd be done on a lathe then.
But now we've established that we need to modify things to make the rear disc fit, it's time to check the caliper.
So final thing to check, we've got some little mods to do to the back brakes, but nothing scary at all. We've got to machine down the face of one bolt and do a tiny bit of modding to this bracket to allow the pad pins to clear it. That's it. But we have movement, so we are good. It's not binding on anything. We are, I'm going to call it a success.
Wait.
That's a good point.
Give that a little whirl.
You know, if this bolt ends up touching the back of that, I'm going to be so angry. Happy days. Sweet. We have a set of ceramic brakes for the Slicks 75 LT, and they're the more modern ones. If they're good enough for an Artura, they're good enough for this. Can't grumble.
Yeah, they just look. Yeah.
Those are rubbish, these are nice, but these need painting, so Let's get them back off, get these bubble wrapped up, and get these off to the body shop to be painted with the rest of the bits that are still being painted. We've got the injectors cleaned earlier in this video, and they are ready to rock. They are all nice and safely packaged, but what Ricky is going to be doing for us is essentially piecing all of the bits of the engine together, so we know when he comes up here with it, and we all work together on getting it in, that we're going to have everything we need there to start it. So we've packaged everything up that we think we've got over here, so I can put these in there with things like the inlet manifold and some wiring, some pipes and all sorts of other stuff, and then that's ready for him to build up. We're going to send that down there to him, but I think that should get that side of things sorted, and hopefully we should be seeing it back very soon. There's one thing I want to do with the interior, because you guys made a very good point and I want to try and fix it before it's even a problem, and it's to do with the seats, because we've got these bloody gorgeous MSO Artura seats in here at the moment. But you guys, as I said, made quite a good point that the suspension apparently makes adaptations based on the occupancy sensors in these seats. Now, I want to make sure that when we do put these seats in, they work perfectly, it doesn't affect any other function of the car. And I've had an idea of how we're going to do that. So we're going to whip these out, then I'm going to explain. These are the seats which we've got for the car. They fit perfectly, but there is one thing. The wiring for them doesn't plug and play. It's not a straight fit. So my idea is this, because the seats which have come out of the car are basically scrap. The fabrics are all worn, one of the seats was bent, all sorts of stuff, but the electrics are okay. And the electrics on these seats are actually pretty simple. All you've got really is an occupancy sensor, something for the seat belt, and something for the electric motor to put the seat up and down, but it's a manual forwards and backwards, both exactly the same. Now what I think we can do is take these off to the trimmers, and they can basically extract all of the electrical stuff out of these and swap them into these, and then the car will think it's still got these seats in, but they will look and feel like these ones. So these electrics into these seats. This look, this functionality. One of the seats is just scrap, it's going in the bin, and the other seat I'm going to repurpose for use on my sim. So I've got a Mclaren seat on my sim then, and then it doesn't need any of the electrics anyway. So there is nothing lost in this situation, it just means we're going to plug them in and they're going to work. Lovely. So for now, I'm going to take these to the trimmers, but if you've enjoyed this video and excited to see what happens with the Mclaren next, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will catch you next time.